What's your dream? What is that dream that you have stuffed way back into the deepest recesses of your brain? The dream that you're too afraid to pull out because it scares the pants off of you. I want you right now to reach in there, pull that dream out, wipe those cobwebs off, and think about that dream as I'm talking. Got it? Ready? Let's talk about dreams. So who am I? And why am I up on stage talking to you about dreams? I'm Nancy Sathre-Vogel, mom to family on bikes, together with my husband and children. We rode our bicycles from Alaska to Argentina. It was a journey of 17,285 miles. I want to talk to you about the 3 F's of doing your big thing, whatever that big thing is. The first F of doing your big thing is to face your fear. We're all terrified of that big thing. If it's big enough, that is. I'll admit that I was terrified of the idea of riding my bike from Alaska to Argentina. I was so afraid, in fact, that I nearly called it off. I was afraid that the mountains would be too high, that the wind would be too strong. I was afraid that the cold would be too hot, or the hot would be too hot. But mostly what I was afraid of was that I would fail. And that brings me to the second F of doing your big thing, which is to forget about failure. Don't let the idea of failure hold you back. I was so afraid of failing that I nearly called our journey off. And then one night I was laying in bed and I realized that I had a chance of failing. I had a very good chance of failing, actually. I figured I probably had a 50-50 chance of it. But then I had that eureka moment where I realized that, yes, I had a good chance of failing, but I also had a chance of success. And if I never even started, if I never climbed on my bike that very first pedal stroke, I was looking at 100% chance of failure. And when I looked at it from that perspective, I realized that it made no sense not to try. But that then brings me to my third point of doing your big thing. And that is to fight furiously. And indeed, we did have to fight furiously. I'm not going to sugarcoat our journey. I'm not going to say that it was all roses and puppy dogs and unicorn tails, because it wasn't. There were times when it was really hard. We faced winds that were so strong they nearly blew us over. We climbed over 15,000-foot mountain passes. That's higher than the highest peaks in Colorado. But there were also beautiful days. There were those days when we had the sun shining and the wind on our back. We had the sun of the beautiful blue sky, and we had the snow-capped Andes off in the distance as eye candy for the soul. But I think back about that fighting, about how sometimes when you're living your dream, whatever that is, there are times when you're going to have to fight. And I mean fight. There are times when it's going to be so hard that you think you can't go, or you think you can't take another step. There were times when I reached that point as we were cycling along the Peruvian coast. For 1,500 miles, day in and day out, we were battling headwinds. The prevailing winds come from the southwest, and we were going from the north. And so every day we climbed out of bed knowing that we were going to be battling winds. And every cyclist knows that winds are the unbeatable foe. When you're climbing a hill, you know that you'll get to the top someday. When you're battling winds, you'll never reach the top. And yet we kept going. It was that internal drive. We had made that commitment. We had made that determination that we were going to do it. And so we did it. We did it because we... what would you do? Stick with it. Think about what it is that you want to do. Make that decision that you're going to do it. it is